How y'all doing? I'm Paul Ryan, your host of the Across the Cowboys podcast. If you're new to the show, thank you for joining us. And to our regular listeners, welcome back. With me, as always, is my co-host, the greatest co-host in the world, Mike the Pig Crumb. Mike, how are you?
Doing well, man. Going into, we can't give why on the air, but going into my most important game of the season. I don't know if you remember why, Paul, but we'll go over it after that live clicks off.
Yeah, I have now that you're saying it, something's starting to come back to me, come back to the memory here, Mike. But, like you said, we can't talk about it on air, but I have a feeling where you're going to go with it, man. So, yeah, this is a big game for sure.
Game of the year.
Mike, where can we find you on Twitter, sir?
At CD Piglet. Nice and easy, guys.
Guys, I'm Paul Ryan, and you can find me on Twitter at Paul_Ryan15. Well, here we are with episode 4 of Mike and I series, Offsides, a series where Mike and I bring on fans, reporters, journalists, and content creators of the opposing team the Cowboys are playing to discuss the matchup, what it's like being a fan, working for the team, and everything in between. With us tonight is Chargers fan and co-host of the Filthy Fantasy Football Show. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Josh to the show. Josh, how are you?
I'm doing just fine. Thanks for having me on, guys. Appreciate that.
Yes, sir. Josh, thank you so much for joining us tonight. I know we were talking a little bit pre-roll, talking on Twitter. You don't have a personal Twitter account, but let the people know where they can find you on Twitter.
Yeah, I mean, I'm horrible at social media. I'm not gonna lie. So we have like I had a personal one, but then I was like, I can't do 2 Twitters. This is stupid. So you can find the show Twitter at Filthy F-Ball Show. We're also on Instagram, Filthy Fantasy Football Show. We're on Reddit at Filthy F-Ball Show. We're eventually coming to YouTube, but we're all fat and ugly, so we're kind of we're testing the waters.
I resemble that remark.
we're audio only for the time. I feel like our listenership grows as we're audio only, but the more people that see me, it goes down. So we're trying to. If I could get Channing Tatum to body double for me, maybe we'll work with something here. But,
so you've got a face made for radio, you think, Josh? Is that what you're saying?
Definitely. And a body that's not meant to be touched. Most podcasts, including mine, I actually wore a shirt for this. I never wear pants. Full disclosure, I have no pants on. But I did put on a shirt because I figured I'm going to be seen, so I should at least wear a t-shirt.
Well, Mike's not going to like this, Josh, but during our first year, we were strictly audio. Mike would record the show naked. I didn't find that out until halfway during the season, but he would just be in his birthday suit recording shows.
To be fair, you're in your home. You're in your castle.
Right.
And clothes just restrict it. You know what? It cuts the blood flow to the brain, and you can't think as quickly.
I was respectful. I never played with my castle while we were recording.
No comment on that. What I do under the desk is my business.
Why filthy? Is it a language thing? Do you letting people know right away there's going to be F-bombs on the podcast?
Oh, yeah. Why not? Well, it was kind of like a play on thing, kind of like Filthy Fantasy, and then it's a football show. Plus, like my thing was this: I wanted to have a podcast where we talk the way you actually talk with your friends, and so
like it.
We cuss because, like, if you watch, Matthew Berry and all those guys, and don't get me wrong, I love the fantasy footballers, Andy, Mike, and Jason, all great guys, but they don't talk like that in their personal life. They got to do it because they, that's no one talks like that. If some guy pisses you off, you're like, dude, look at this asshole. Like you're texting your friends, you're cussing at your TV, you throw your family cat across the house. Like that's the kind of, like, I'm a football pig. That's the kind of guy I am. So I wanted a show that represented that. And what's funny is we actually had a really good review where some guy was, because my gentleman lovers, Big Roman Fantasy Fish, they do the show with me. And we were we're basically the fantasy footballers after dark. So we're not safe for work. Or we are safe. I don't know what kind of work environment you're in, but people should listen to us because we're funny.
Absolutely, man. I appreciate the honesty, and it's nice to hear that a show is just kind of catering to themselves and not to an audience.
Well, and that's why, because we're still independent. I refuse to sell the show to anybody because I don't want to change. I like my show the way it is.
Yeah.
Like, and if they don't like it, I don't go pound sand somewhere else. Like someone else will buy someone else's show. Like I like us, and I want to stay true to us. So
you don't want to be
now,
WWE PG.
now, don't get me wrong. There is a price. If the price is right, I'll sell out. I have no shame. I am not a rich man. But for the time being, I'm fine with my little sponsors that like our show, and that's fine the way it is. I'm okay with it.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Josh, let's get filthy here, if you will.
Yeah,
I'm curious, how long have you been a Chargers fan?
Since I was a little kid, man. I don't even know, because when you're a kid, you like players. You don't really like teams as much. Like, I liked Barry Sanders. I liked Jerry Rice. Like, I liked all those guys. But growing up in Southern California, it was either the Raiders or the Chargers. But I've never liked the Raiders. I still don't like the Raiders. They just didn't do it for me. And I was a big Junior Seau fan. And so, I mean, dude, the guy was a monster. Junior Seau was like, other than shooting himself in the chest, like I have nothing negative to say about the guy. Like, guys out, he was a stud in college, stud in the pros. And then, they had Natron Means. Like, I kind of started gravitating towards the Chargers as a kid. And then over 20 something years, I've just been rooting for them, and they break my heart every single year. But hey, you stay faithful. So
we know that remark too. We know that. We know all about that.
Oh yeah,
is Junior Seau your favorite all-time Charger, or you got a different favorite all-time player? Maybe
it would have to be LaDainian Tomlinson, just because in the more formidable years where I understood football, LT was just. The guy was magic. Like I can still watch his highlight reels on YouTube, and it just brings a smile to my face and an erection to my pants. Like, it's just the thing. Even if you weren't a Charger fan, everybody loved LT, and he had the coolest touchdown celebration with his little hand toss thing. Like, guy was, and he could do everything. He did all aspects of the game. Great runner, pass blocker, pass catcher, and even he has a career quarterback rating of like 150 because he threw a lot of touchdowns too. So, I mean, then, like when he left, it totally broke my heart. But, I understand the business side of it. And it was just a shame that we wasted his career.
Yeah, kind of crazy. Man. He went to the Jets afterwards, had a little bit of success there, too.
Mm-hmm. I was rooting for him with the Jets. I was like, hey, if he can win, kind of like when Drew Brees left the Chargers and he won one with the Saints. I was like, hell yeah, man. Good for you. Like, I was happy for him. So
we are. It's remarkable how much the fans for those two teams are similar. Because like DeMarcus Ware, Tony Romo, Jason Witten, those guys, you feel like we wasted their career. And if Dak left, I would root for my team first. Yeah. But I would love it if Dak ended up going somewhere and he won a title. I would be all for it. So
yeah, absolutely.
The similarities are interesting.
Yeah, they really are. So LT, man, great player, great NFL player and fantasy player. The Chargers have quite a few good players for fantasy and in the NFL. I'm curious, who is your current favorite player?
Well, I mean, it's hard not to like Turbo Herbo, man. Justin Herbert's a stud. Like, and it's funny, like on Twitter, you see a lot of people kind of bash him because like, oh, what has he done? I don't know, dude. The guy last year threw for 4,000 yards with Josh Palmer. So it's he has a way of just plus And how do you not like Austin Eckler too? I mean,
right?
That guy. I mean, I don't know. Like it's always funny trying to like not be a homer for your team and trying to be like realistic. But I mean, so many guys to love. I mean, look at the impact Eckler had, and he played one game and he scored was like 30 points in the one game, and now he's back and it's exciting. So we'll see how that goes. And he plays fantasy football. Like I love that. Like
yeah, that's really cool. Yeah, for sure.
Let's talk about somebody you probably don't like as much, and we'll get curse words. Your thoughts on head coach Brandon Staley?
It's funny. I got your show docket, and when I read that question, it hurt me just reading it. And I was like, oh god. Like the thing with Staley, it bothers me because he's a defensive head coach, and why is our defense ass? Like we have studs. You have Joey Bosa, Khalil Mack, Derwin James, Asante Samuel's up and coming defender. Like Mike Davis, like you have studs on defense, but we can't stop anything. Like teams can do whatever they want. They're a drunk girl at a frat party. Like you can do whatever. All systems go. Have a blast. And like it just bothers me because then like he had the success with the Rams the 1 year in 2020. Probably helped that you had Aaron Donald, the best defensive player on the planet. But like he's a defensive head coach. Why is our defense trash? I don't understand it. And the fact that we still have him, and it's like typical Charger fashion though. They don't want to shell out money for like a legit coach. It's the same shit with Anthony Lynn, and they let Norv Turner hang out for way too long. And now Brandon Staley, where he's doing the same thing that we've always done. It's his clock management's bad. He, like I said, you're a defensive coach. Why do you have the worst defense in the league, like other than Denver? Although Denver's actually doing okay tonight, which is it's Thursday, so that's fine. But
are you not seeing the similarities here, Paul? Too
yeah.
much with Norv Turner compared to Jason Garrett. Don't want to shell out money for keep people too long. Like, dude, the Chargers are the friggin' Cowboys AFC West.
That's why we play each other in the preseason. You guys come out to Oxnard for the practice facility, and they always share practice with the Chargers, and we rub off on each other, and it's gross. Just destined for bad football.
Bad.
Yes, sir. Yeah, the Chargers did try to make some improvements on offense, where there were some questions there last year. Are you happy with Kellen Moore as your OC, or would you prefer to go against a guy like him?
I love that Kellen Moore to me was the biggest signing that we've done in years. Because actually, I have no inside information on it, but I truly think they'll fire Staley after this year because we'll probably either not make the playoffs or we'll eke in and lose in the first round. And then they'll probably fire Staley. And then Kellen Moore, I think Staley's only here as a placeholder because they probably didn't want to give the head coaching job to Kellen Moore right off the bat. That's my guess. Because the thing, like the offense isn't the issue. The Chargers will drop 30 every week. It's the defense.
Right.
And Staley can't figure it out. Like I don't know what they need to do. I mean, I don't know what DCs are out there that can fix this, but no, Kellen Moore, I mean, he's already made the offense. We're one of the better offenses in the league.
No doubt.
Justin Herbert had a bye week, and he's still the quarterback, I think 6 on the year or something like that in fantasy. So it's it's working. I thank you, Dallas, for that. I appreciate that.
Any specific upgrades you've noticed from the year before to now that Kellen Moore is the play caller?
I feel like they're willing to try to establish the run, even though they're not really good at it. But they're trying other things. Like they're letting Keenan Allen continue to just dominate the inside and the underneath. And then, I mean, my question though is like why they haven't brought Quentin Johnston along yet. I'm hoping to see more from him now that, I mean, we all knew Mike Williams was going to get hurt at some point in time. It was just a matter of when. Yeah. And then you drafted a guy who's the same play style, similar body size as Mike Williams. He's just faster. So I'm hoping like we'll actually use him, but I've noticed like better clock management, which is huge. Just the like overall, like the offense, it's similar. Like the offense was never the issue. Actually, no, I take that back because last year when they played the Jaguars, they put up like 30 in the first half, then gave up was like 17 unanswered or 21 unanswered. So
yeah,
I tried to I've blocked it out from my head because it was painful, but.
Yeah, I know Mike. I can't, speak for Mike, but I will. I know we don't want to talk about the playoffs, so we'll move forward here. You mentioned Quentin Johnson. He was one of the additions made in the offseason. When you look at the offseason, free agency and the draft, did the Chargers make any significant moves to, maybe upgrade this year?
Not really. Kellen Moore was the big one. My thing though was I was really hoping they would have gone after like DeAndre Hopkins. Or like one of those other wide receivers. Now, granted, D-Hop, similar play style to like Mike Williams, but when you have a franchise quarterback that's young and like has potential, why do you not get pieces around him? Like we on the other my show, my partner and I were talking about how like why has Baltimore done nothing to get help for Lamar Jackson? Like why are you rolling out old OBJ, Zay's whatever, and an injured kind of bad Rashad Bateman. Like, why didn't you go after DeAndre Hopkins? Why didn't you go after Jerry Jeudy? Like, why didn't you go after these players? So with the Chargers, the problem, like, I'm surprised they paid Herbert because they historically don't like doing that. But I was hoping they would have gone after a big free agency signing. I'm upset that they won't extend Eckler.
Yeah.
I mean, so those are the things that bother me. And then, you draft Quentin Johnston, which I love the pick. I still love the pick. I still stand behind it. Not so much for redraft. He's more of a dynasty person. Although I will say this, he should be rostered. You should have him on your bench because you never know. But we'll see. Like I said, the offense isn't the issue. It's their defense. Oh God, their defense is just so bad.
That again, I'm just there. He's talking about the Dallas Cowboys. He's just saying other teams' players' names, but he's talking about the Dallas Cowboys. I mean, 2017 they walked out with Allen Hurns and who was that guy? Deontay Thompson or whatever, in the Dak friendly offense, and we're sitting there like, what? You know what? I'm not going to say that anymore. We get it. I get it. The Chargers and the Cowboys are very alike. I will not bring it up again. Has the team overall met your expectations so far through the 5 weeks?
I expected us to be worse. So,
wow.
Because I mean, you never know with the new OC. You never know what it's going to look like. I mean, we're 2-2, but we're like a bad 2-2 because I always equate it. The Chargers are either the best bad team in football or the worst good team in football, and 2-2 is about right. Like that's probably where we should be. And realistically, I want us to be. I mean, obviously, I want them to win, but if we could be bad again and get a good draft pick, I'd be okay with it too.
Yeah, you look at the Chargers. I mean, with a guy like Justin Herbert and Austin Eckler and the pieces you mentioned on defense, you have the core there to where you think you're contending for a Super Bowl. Do you feel the Chargers are contenders? And if not, what do you think is holding them back?
Brandon Staley, they're not a contender. They're not. I think there's just a lack of experience with Staley, and like I said, they need to figure out their defense a lot. Their O-line issues have gotten somewhat better with Rashawn Slater's healthy this year. They drafted Zion Johnson, although Corey Linsley's hurt now, and that kind of puts a damper on your O-line when you lose your center. But I like that their O-line's giving Herbert time to pass. So I mean, and that's like the thing, because look what Atlanta's done. They built up that O-line, and now they're winning with Desmond Ridder, who in 6 months is going to be selling car insurance. He's not going to be in the NFL very long. And so they built up that O-line. They have the pieces. I don't know what they need. I wish I did. I'd probably make a lot more money if I knew what they needed. but yeah, we're not a contender. We have like I said, the offense is capable of doing it, but look at the last few Super Bowl champions, because they had good defenses too. You had a good offense and you had a good defense. Like Chiefs got a great offense, they had a good defense. The Eagles, great defense, good offense. So it's just look the Patriots. I mean, now granted, Tom Brady is a special player, and with both Tampa Bay and New England, great defense, above average offense. That's the Ravens won a Super Bowl with Trent Dilfer. And Joe Flacco. So, it's defense wins championships. And that's true. It is true.
Yeah, no doubt.
How important do you think this game is for the Chargers?
It's important in the sense that they're coming off the bye. And if we have a horrible game plan and get caught flat-footed, I'm not trying to pile on to what happened to Dallas last week against San Francisco, but if we come out and we get boat raced by Dallas, it's dude, you had a week. You had more than a week to prepare for this game. And you saw what San Francisco did, so you can try to implement some similar type of game plan, and you couldn't figure it out. To me, this is a big game for Brandon Staley. Because if he loses this game, which there's a chance we lose this game. I mean, I'm realistic. We're the Chargers. We could lose every game. There's an opportunity for us to lose every single game. The Chargers could easily go 17-0. Although now that we've won 2, we can go 2-15. It could definitely happen. But it's more just seeing what we come up with after having the long break. So I think the Chargers have a good opportunity this week because we had the extended time. And plus, again, not to pile onto the Dallas thing, but after just completely getting demoralized last week, they're going to be playing they're already playing catch up right now, even though the game hasn't started yet. They're already playing from behind because they got to get over that mental hurdle. So we'll see. It should be fun though, because both teams have potential. It could be a total shootout. We'll see.
Kind of sticking with the Cowboys last week, that was a statement game for the Cowboys to kind of show us what type of team they are. Do you feel like this is that type of game for Chargers fans? As what showing you guys what type of team they are?
No, not so much, because it's more just how well can you play against your division opponents, and your in division opponents. Like, how well can you play Kansas City, because we still have to play them twice.
Right.
And that's the thing, because like that's like the drawback of the Chargers is you have to play Patrick Mahomes twice, and that's like an abuse that I wish a lot of teams didn't have to deal with. Like it sucks to just see Patrick Mahomes now Taylor Swift is all over my TV. It's just upsetting.
Yeah, nonstop, man.
Now, but like I said, it's a big game in the sense that you're coming off a bye, so they have to come out hot. They have to come out swinging, especially now that it looks like the Dallas defense, they were exposed by San Francisco, and so they're not that unstoppable juggernaut of a defense that we thought they were. Right. So, you can put points up on them. So we'll see. Like I said, it's gonna be fun and painful, but might be fun.
You're leaning into this next question. I think I know the answer just by where you're going, but as a fan looking at it, would you have preferred Dallas wins, they beat the Niners, the one, the guy, the monkey on the shoulder, and they kind of exhale, but they're still on a roll? Or the way they got demoralized, hey, it opens up a lot of avenues to show how you could beat them, but they're going to come. Most good teams, when they get embarrassed like that, come and play really hard the next game. Mm-hmm. What would you have preferred?
I would have, if they didn't lose so badly like they did last week. Because this is the thing. If the Chargers go out and win, it's like, okay, well, we saw what San Francisco did, and now, there's kryptonite to Superman. And so, there's a way to beat them. But, the problem is, if the Chargers go out and just get, just crushed, then it's like, well, we're bad. At least that answers my question of that we're bad. I don't know how to answer that. It's a very good question. Like I said, I saw the docket and I was trying to think of that, and I don't know. I don't know what I'd want. I hope the Chargers win. That's all I really hope for. Because like I said, if we lose, it's like, oh man, we lost to the team that lost 7,000 to nothing to San Francisco. So
whenever I get whenever we're facing a team, Dallas, I always hate when the team gets destroyed the game before, because I know they're going to be all right, that the all week of practice, it's going to be you guys got to embarrass this or that. It's going to be hardcore practices, and it always bugs me. Now in Dallas terms, they don't really have that, so maybe it doesn't work for them, but I always hated that. That's why I asked, because I know if Chargers played last week and they just got destroyed 40-10, I would be like, damn, Herbert and them are going to be ready to go this next game. So that's why I asked.
If there's any team to get right with, it's against the Chargers defense, because like I said, they can't stop anything. They're like early 2000s Netscape. You're getting all the viruses with the Chargers defense.
God, what if we're bad? What if we're bad? What if we only put up 17 points and can't move the ball?
With the two high-powered offenses, it's going to be 17-10.
Right.
And just boring. In a boring game.
Man, I hope not. Anytime a team is coming off a loss like the Cowboys were, the team facing them next can kind of use that to their advantage, I would like to think. Do you think the Chargers can do that this week against the Cowboys?
I hope so. Like I said, they'd be silly to not watch that tape 6,000 times and just see and try to duplicate it. Because now, granted, the San Francisco offense has insane playmakers in Kittle, CMC, Ayuk, like just true dynamic players. But you're going to sit there and tell me you can't get creative with Herbert, Eckler, Keenan Allen. Like you can't get creative with that. And especially
Seriously,
Kellen
yeah.
Moore, he also has the inside track of information on Dallas. Like, yeah, sure, they changed the play calls. They changed the verbiage. They have a new OC, but it's the same players he coached last year. Like not much has changed since last. I mean, now Zeke is gone and kind of pretending to play football in New England. So it's just, it's just one of those things where like, I really hope they've studied the tape because, and then the thing is too, like with the San Francisco defense, honestly, I don't think they did anything that special to shut down Dallas. Like, I mean, just Nick Bosa was doing whatever he wanted. Fred Warner did whatever he wanted.
Man, Fred Warner's something special. Man.
They did the same thing they do every time, and we can't do any. You would think at this point you could hit them with something like put 20 on them. No, same stuff, got locked down again.
Well, that was my concern with Dallas, though, watching that game was there was no second half adjustment. Like, they got caught with their pants down and they couldn't recover. And I don't like, how do you not change your game? Like, I understand, like, because once the scripted plays from the beginning of the game go away, they had no adjustments, and that was kind of concerning for Dallas.
It was their Super Bowl game. Like it was the game they talked about all offseason, all year. The main, it wasn't even the Eagles who were in the Super Bowl. Everybody was like, this team that eliminated, and they got, oh God. All right, sorry. It's a Chargers podcast.
That's okay. Let it out. We're all friends here. It's okay to vent.
Yes.
It's bad. What do you think the Chargers have to do to get a W against Dallas? What's like a few keys for you?
They got to make Dak uncomfortable. Ever since Dak hurt his leg, he has not been the same quarterback. Because now he's afraid to extend the play with his legs because that's how he got hurt. So, and the thing is, and I'm not trying to kick a man while he's down. I don't think Dak's that good. He's fine.
Oh.
Like he's better than most quarterbacks. Like, because my thing kind of like when the Giants re-signed Daniel Jones to a ton of money, and it's like, what the hell are they doing? Well, who else are you going to sign? Like Nick Mullins, or Trevor Seaman. Like, who are you going to get? There's nobody out there. So
you called him Seaman on purpose. I know you did.
Yes, I did. Because no one cares.
No.
But the thing, so like with Dak, because the thing with Dak, Amari Cooper got fired from the team and launched to Cleveland because he called him Black Kirk Cousins. Because he kind of is. Like, he's fine. I don't think you can win a Super Bowl with Dak if that defense can't stop San Francisco. So, but yeah, I mean, so like I said, if the Chargers can make Dak uncomfortable, which I mean, who knows? Maybe Khalil Mack. I don't know. I can say he's going to get 6 sacks this game, but if he can put a lot of pressure on the quarterback, if Joey Bosa's healthy and can pressure the quarterback, like make Dak beat you, like that would be a key thing. And then if, like, I want to say if the Chargers can stop it, but they can't stop anybody. Like KJ Osborne scored a touchdown against the Chargers. I mean, we won the game, but KJ Osborne, like a buddy of mine, he's a big Vikings fan. I was like, is KJ Osborne good? He's like, no, he's just kind of there. He's just like a guy. It's like, okay. But I mean, he scored a touchdown. So it's like I said, if you can put a lot of pressure on Dak, and then if they can, and they can't leave points on the board, kick field goals. Like, don't be I don't understand, like, stupid analytics, I feel, ruin sports. Because now teams are like, no, we'll go for it on fourth. Like, dude, just kick the field goal. Get the 3 points. Like, what are you doing? Like, just get points. The way you win is you have to score more than the other team. Kick field goals. Like, do that. But, like, so if the Chargers can, because they're going to have 3 and outs. They're going to have, if the Chargers can keep turnovers down, which they've been pretty good at this year, if they can, like I said, if they can try to play good defense, and then with a healthy Eckler, hopefully they can kind of chew up the clock. And if we can just keep putting points on the board, I think we'll be okay. It's just, like I said, it's more just shutting down. Because, like I said, the Chargers' offense isn't concerning for me. It's their defense. So if we can make Dak uncomfortable, I'd rather try to make Dak beat me than to try to have my offense outscore them. So.
Well, I got two questions for you. One, did Amari Cooper really call Dak Prescott the Black Kirk Cousins?
Yes, he did.
The
Wow, I
report
never
is
heard
that didn't happen. That was not true, but you never know. I understand the correlation.
You know what?
That was the
ownership's
first time I
really
ever heard
cheap.
that.
That's why you didn't see that. That was all over Twitter.
No, I never saw that.
Where there's smoke, there's fire. And a lot of people were like reporting that he said that.
That's crazy.
A lot of the reason he's gone, the real reason he's gone, like the main is because our ownership's cheap. They didn't want to pay him $20 million. That's why they give away the least out of pocket money over the last like decade. They're cheap.
Oh, you know what? That reminds me. Shout out to Coach Darkside, one of the friends of our show. He actually brought up this interesting stat where he was looking at the last like 20 Super Bowl champions outside of Brady, because Brady doesn't count. He's the outlier.
Right.
Yeah.
No, there's only been like one quarterback that was drafted outside of the top 3 rounds to win Super Bowls. Like,
wow.
And the Cowboys refuse because they spent up for Aikman, 40 years ago or however long ago that was. And that was successful for them. And now they went with, Romo in the 4th, 5th, something like that.
Romo's undrafted.
Oh, he was okay. Maybe that's what it was. Okay, so Romo's undrafted. Dak was 4th round pick.
4th, yeah.
Yeah. So like they go cheap on quarterback, and this is what happens. Like, because look at Patrick Mahomes, even though he was drafted, was it 1st round? He's a first round quarterback.
First round.
Yeah,
top. I think he was like 13th.
Yeah, or he was early. So yeah. So he was a 1st round quarterback, 2-time champion. Russell Wilson, he was a 2nd round quarterback. He's a champion.
Third.
Third. Okay, fine. He's at the cutoff.
Yeah.
Who else won recently? And then Brady won like 1,000. But like again, Brady's a category. Brady's a freak. Like that's like there's always the exception to the rule. But Peyton Manning, number 1 overall pick.
Stafford.
Stafford. He was the number 1 overall pick. There's a reason why these guys get drafted early, because they're clearly better than everybody else. Yeah. And so that's like I said, shout out to Coach Darkside for bringing up that stat. Like there's only been like Nick Mullins was like the only quarterback that like was drafted outside of the top 3 rounds that won a Super Bowl in like the last like 20 years. Oh, Big Ben. Wow. Big Ben was an early draft pick and he won 2. Do you want 2 or 3, something like that? So it's in the pedigree. So.
I know it's only week 6, Josh, but is this a must-win game for the Chargers?
Every win's a must-win, because when you have the Chiefs in your division and they're going to win 13 to at least 11, they're going to win 11 to 14, 15 games. You have to win. You have to win, otherwise you're not going to make it. And the AFC, and it's always funny, it's been like this for the last few years. The AFC is so much deeper than the NFC in terms of like the NFC has like the high top talent, San Francisco and Philly. Although Philly's weird to me this year because they're winning, but like it's gross. They're gross great. Winning. Yeah, it's awkward. It's like a hot chick that got fat, and like it's still kind of sexy, but like you remember what it used to look like. So like you let it slide. You're like, yeah, it's fine, but then you're like, it's not the same. But then although Detroit's sneaky. I'm really digging Detroit this year.
Detroit's getting in shape.
Yeah, they're the fat chick that got hot. Yeah, and you're like, oh, you were so nice to me. That's why I was nice to you, because I knew you'd get hot. So you were the fat chick with a pretty smile, and I knew if you lost weight, you'd get so hot.
We're getting so canceled.
Seriously.
If they haven't canceled us yet with the shit I've said, this ain't gonna get us.
If they haven't canceled, if they cancel here, you can just come join us and just say whatever you want.
Hey, we're gonna hold you to that, man. All right, Josh. This next question you already answered. It sounds like you're not that high on Dak Prescott. So I'll ask you this: Justin Herbert, where do you rank him among NFL quarterbacks? And I assume you feel that you could win a Super Bowl with him.
I think. And I'm trying not to be a Charger homer, but I think Herbert has the ability to win Super Bowl. Because thing is this, like what makes the quarter like you need to have something needs to be special about you, and that's why you win Super Bowls. Like Patrick Mahomes, it's his ability to improvise. He's got enough mobility to extend the play. He's got his weird arm angles where he can throw like underhand, sidearmed, like
Those baseball throws, man.
yeah, or if you're like a statue like Big Ben, but his accuracy was like disgusting. Like I still remember that Super Bowl where he threw it like 4 yards out of bounds and Santonio Holmes just like that was like the most beautiful touchdown pass I have ever seen. So like there needs to be something special about you. Like what makes you different? And because actually what's funny is when the Chargers drafted Herbert, I was supportive, but at the same time I was kind of like, he's an Oregon Duck. Like, I don't know. We'll see. But it was the first game when Tyrod Taylor got stabbed in the lung and almost died. And then Herbert had to play quarterback. And that was the best medical mistake that happened to my franchise. You attempted murder to guy, and then Herbert was great. But it was they played the Chiefs. And I think it was like Frank Clark or some big guy. Like Herbert scrambled and the guy hit him. And the guy gave himself a concussion. Herbert popped right up and ran right back to the huddle. Like that guy, he's 6'5", he's 240, he's fast. Like he's if he could get a little more accurate and put a little more touch on, because he's got an absolute rocket for an arm.
Yeah.
But if he can put a little more touch on it, I think Herbert is a Super Bowl potential quarterback. I thought Dak was until he broke his leg. After that, I'm out on Dak. Like I've traded him away in just about every dynasty league after that because I was like, I don't see it anymore. Like I was like, Dallas is in trouble. Like Dak just, I don't know, because Dak, he's good, he's fine, he's like a solid 7.5 out of 10.
Without his mobility, he doesn't have the ability to be great anymore.
Exactly. And that's like, cause he leaps and bounds every year. I was like, dude, Dak is legit. Like I was so into it. I was like, hey, go Dallas, which is tough. Cause no, you're a cool guy, Mike, but some Dallas fans are just too much. You can't deal with them. You can't. It's hard. It hurts.
Well, maybe Philly. Philly's pretty bad. But if
Philly's
not Philly, we have the worst fan base in football, and half of us are great, but the other half are like, claw your eyes out.
But yeah, what was it, like 3 years ago or so, 4 years ago when Dak got hurt? Right before he got hurt, man, I was like, dude, I was all in on Dak, and I liked all the pieces they had. You had the 1-2 duo and Zeke and Tony. You had Mari Cooper, CeeDee Lamb, Michael Gallup. Like it looked great, and then he broke his leg, and then it's like, that so much for that, because now he's afraid. He's afraid to extend the play. He plays scared now, and his arm talent isn't enough to get him by. He needed those legs. So
yeah,
I don't disagree.
Yeah.
All right, Josh, who will win this game?
It's probably going to be Dallas, but actually, wait. They're at home, aren't they? Chargers at home.
Yeah.
I'm going to say that, I'll be the homer. They're coming off the bye week. I think the Chargers win, but I don't think we're going to get like the big fantasy output that we're all hoping for. I think it's going to be a relatively close game, but I think the Chargers can win. You had over a week to prepare for this, and you watched San Francisco do what they did. So there's really no excuse why they shouldn't win.
Mike?
Yeah, I got the Chargers too. I didn't like that. The main thing is the travel. I don't understand why you go back to Dallas and then travel all the way back out to the West Coast. I thought that was a stupid decision. And there's just so many injuries. Like this is a defensive-led team, and they're going to be going out there with you. We all know about Diggs, now LVE. Like there's other guys that are playing but are limited. And I don't think I know the motivation thing's going to be big. Like they're going to be willing to come play, but you got to have the bodies too. And I just don't think, I think Dan Quinn's going to need a couple of weeks to maybe after this game in the bye week, maybe they come back against the Rams and a little bit more of themselves on defense. but I don't think they're going to be themselves this week defensively. And our offense is just not very good under McCarthy. I hoped it would be, but it's not. So I'm going to take the Chargers to win.
Yeah, initially I had Dallas winning this, but you guys have kind of, I don't know, got me swaying the other way. I'll continue to be a homer and I'll stay with Dallas, but I don't feel great about it. I mean, we have a question here from Jordan Stock. Mike, is Bland okay?
As far as we know, he's practicing. He's set to play, but that's one of those guys that, he's still in. Hurt affects your play too. Injury keeps you out, but hurt affects your play. And if you're hurt trying to go up against Keenan Allen and Herbert, good luck.
Yeah, if he doesn't play, man, I really don't see how Dallas can win this game against Herbert in that offense.
They'd have no chance. Or if he's even ineffective. If he plays, but he's not at a top level,
right.
Herbert will cut them up.
Okay, Josh, who do you think will score the first touchdown?
I think Eckler does. He's had plenty of time to rethink his life. And, I think Eckler scores. Whether it's a pass or a run, you never know with him. But I think Eckler scores.
Right.
Because like I said, especially the Chargers, because like I said, the first few series are going to be scripted. And so they'll have it already planned out for Eckler. So, and I think he comes out on top first.
Mike, how about you?
100% agree. Even that's what I was going to say too. I think they're going to script him 4 or 5 touches in the first drive. And I think he'll score. They'll probably score early. So, yeah, I think Eckler gets the first TD.
All right, guys, I'm speaking this one into existence. I'm going to go with CeeDee Lamb. If we're going to make strides on offense, it starts with CD. He hasn't been happy. You want to try to keep your franchise players, your wide receiver ones happy. Keep getting him involved early this week and getting him a touchdown, I think, would do that. So I'm going to go with CeeDee Lamb.
It could very well happen. The Chargers defense is bad.
Yeah.
So
who do you think is going to have the most fantasy points, Josh?
Probably Eckler. I expect if he's as healthy as they're making you believe, he's going to have 10 catches. So if you're in PPR, you're already going to get 10 points from that.
Right.
He probably scores a touchdown, and he's probably going to get about 60-ish purpose yards. So I mean, he's probably going to have close to 19 to 23 points by the end of the week, I would guess.
Mike, what do you think?
I'm going to go Herbert. I think they're gonna throw the ball a lot because that's what they do. I think Eckler will get a lot of points off of that, but Herbert throws 2-3 touchdown passes. He'll get some points.
I like that. I accept that.
Yeah, I'm sticking with CeeDee Lamb here. Wide receivers as a unit average almost 48 points per game when playing the Chargers defense, and as the saying goes, the squeaky wheel gets the grease. I'm hoping this Cowboys offense can get something going this week, man. And like I said, I think it starts and ends with CeeDee Lamb. So CeeDee Lamb's my pick.
Not a bad pick.
Not a bad pick at all.
All right, Josh, what's your score prediction?
I want it to be something fun, like 38-35, but realistically, it's going to be 24-17.
24-17. All right, Mike, how about you?
I got 27-19 Chargers.
Oh wow, another double-digit loss for Dallas.
No, 8 points.
You said 27. Oh yeah, my bad. That 27-19. Yeah, I'm a little bit more optimistic. I think it could be a high-scoring affair. Anything could happen, of course, but I have it here 30-27 Dallas.
Ooh,
I'd take any win if they could.
Yeah,
if they
sure.
could find a way to win this one for personal reasons, I'd appreciate it.
I mean that last one was at 2021 when we won 12-9 or something like that. I'd take that one in a heartbeat.
Yeah, just get a W this week. That's what I need you to do.
Well, it
has zero to do with bouncing back or anything like that. Just win for me. Win this one.
The over-under on the game right now is at 51, with Dallas favored at -2.5. So we'll see what happens.
That's crazy that Dallas is favored in that game.
I know.
Considering the travel, how they played, all the injuries, Eckler coming back, Chargers off a bye, that really shocks me that they're favored.
really does. Well, Josh, man, I can't thank you enough for coming on. Before we get you out of here, you mentioned pre-roll that you record a couple of shows every week. Can you talk to us a little bit about that and where we can find your content?
Yeah, our podcast is on wherever you find your podcasts: Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio, wherever you listen to podcasts, you can find us. Just look for us, the Filthy Fantasy Football Show. We record 3-ish, sometimes more times a week. Like I said, it's between myself and my fantasy lovers, Big Rome and the Fantasy Fish. You can find them at Big Rome FFF and Fantasy Fish at F Football Fish. He also writes defensive stream articles for the sports affiliation. So if you're like me and you just stream defenses every week, you can check him out on the sports affiliation. Shout out to those guys over there. They're all cool, like Poochie and all those fun guys, and Ziggy. Like I said, we're on Twitter mostly. Instagram, we're at Filthy Fantasy Football Show on Instagram, but we're awful at that. Like, I'm not even gonna lie. Like, we post like 3 pictures a year. It's I don't know how to circumvent the algorithm without having like a 17-year-old girl TikTok dance for me or something. So I got to figure something out on that front. But yeah, mostly Twitter. And like I said, just find our podcast. We record a couple times a week. We talk not rankings, but start sits. Because like what's funny, we used to be more like in depth with rankings and all that. It's like no one cares. Like no one does it really matter that Patrick Mahomes is quarterback 3 this week? No, you're gonna play him. So don't even bother with that. So we go through all the games. We tell who you're going to play, who you're not going to play. Earlier in the week, we always talk about waivers, like who to look for. And then instead of studs and duds on the week, we call them pinks and stinks because pinks are delicious and stinks, you know what that is. So, because it's all sexual. That. It's a sexual nature show and it's fun.
I love it.
Yeah. But yeah, thank you for having me, guys. This was so much fun. Like I said, I always enjoy talking to people about fantasy. So.
And one more time before we get you out of here, remind the people where they can find you on Twitter.
Yeah, at Filthy F Ball Show is the show Twitter. You can slide into my DMs. Usually on Saturdays or Sundays, we'll post a thing like, hey, send us your start sits and we'll help you with that. You can email us, filthyfantasyfootballshow@gmail.com. We're eventually going to launch a Patreon, and I'll have like a Google phone number so you guys can text me because people are weird. I don't want your – I mean, no, actually, no. I take it back. Send me your nudes. I'm fine with that. I just don't want – I don't want – like, if you send me nudes, I'll give you fantasy advice for free. If you don't send nudes, I'm going to have to start charging. That's a lie. I do it. I love fantasy football. I'll do it for free. So, but yeah, thank you so much for having me, guys. This was fun. I appreciate it.
No, man. Thank you so much for coming on. Mike, remind the people they can find you on Twitter.
Letter C, letter D, Piglet, nice and easy. Thanks for coming on, my friend. That was a blast, dude. If people listen to this and don't want to go listen to your show, I would be shocked. You are a barrel of fun.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I'll take my shirt off on the show, so that's usually what we do. So if you like shirtless hairy men, we got you covered.
Yes, sir.
Balls
yes, sir. Yeah. Hey, I'm a hairy man myself, sir. So I'm right there with you, Josh.
Yeah, if you guys want to come on the show and take your clothes off and come talk football with us, let me know. It's going to be a lot of fun.
I might be the one that they may turn away if you get me shirtless. I'll wear my Disney stuff.
As long as you have no pants on.
Hey, don't tempt him, man. Don't tempt him. All right, guys, I'm Paul Ryan. You can find me on Twitter at Paul_Ryan15. We appreciate you joining us, and we'll see you guys next week.